Hello everyone! Welcome to the first episode of the new year! And also this game. So, I need to make an immediate correction. I made an assumption 2 weeks ago that the character clad in armor up top was a Zane. I made this assumption because of his proximity to... and I forgot her name. What is the name of the spirit girl? Lyria. Apparently, though, that is not a Zane. That is actually a character we never actually got to see. That is Soren, the missing Manafinder who was killed by Cataractodon, Scar's owner. So, neat. Also, at this point, I am at the start of Chapter 2. I'm going to talk to this guy down here. Nomads fear me, you know. I've killed a couple in my lifetime. And that's all I wanted to talk to him about. I just find it interesting that he has dialogue other than crushing a bear with his hands. Along with that, I'm gonna go ahead and load a different file. And this file is immediately after retrieving the giant mana stone after fighting the Chapter 1 bosses, the King and Queen Zephyrak. And first things first, I want to bring up that they have some attacks that we didn't get to see during the first go-around. The Queen has a group heal spell that wound up missing because I blinded it. It also has an attack that it uses if you kill the King, but that attack also missed because I blinded it. I would assume that the King likewise has an attack that it will use if you kill the Queen. Also, I have chosen the option not to immediately go back to the settlement, which gives me the opportunity to look at a couple items that I otherwise immediately give up at the start of the next cutscene. And those items are the Emerald Stone, which is going to be taken by Einar so that he can craft it into a spearhead. This beautiful emerald is harder than your conventional rock. Perhaps it could be used to improve a weapon. And of course there's the Mana Stone stash, which of course we give that up immediately upon returning to the settlement. A massive collection of Mana Stones. Bring them to the settlement with utmost care. Oops. Alright, time to load another save. And we have loaded to my current point of progress here in New Game Minus. And we got that rock. The rare beast that will only sometimes be awake. And I tell you what are the odds of this awakening? A 1 in 10 chance whenever you enter this screen? I could imagine how much trouble most people have finding this thing. So, I am finding this one on camera because, of course, the first playthrough, I didn't find it until I was way over-leveled. And I want to find out how difficult this fight is under normal circumstances. What is Earth weak against? Lightning? I think it's lightning. So, let's see how difficult the breathing rock actually is. Oh, I was wrong, it's not lightning. I need to go back to town and look up what elemental weaknesses. Ah, gosh, that hurts. Anyway, I no longer have my original notes for this playthrough, so I don't know what all the weaknesses are anymore. What I do know is... Ow! Okay, let's try to get through this fight without just using an unleash. Okay, the barrier don't work. Well, Scar is not going to have any chance of winning this fight. Yeah, I think actually knowing the correct spell to imbue the correct element is going to be key to winning this fight. And its weakness is ice. I have not bought any ice ores. Actually, I've not bought any ores. I'm trying to save up my money for that 10,000 Joa coin piece of armor right before the final chapter. So I'm gonna try to see how much money I can get if I don't buy anything for the entire game. At the very least, I'm going to go ahead and buy an ice ore so that I can survive that fight. Alright, it took me like 5 more attempts in order to make that wake up. Let's see if I can get a back attack on you. Which way are you going? That way? This'll help. So, imbue ice. I only bought one. I don't think I'm gonna need more than that. Again, not gonna worry about just cheesing it with unleash. Let's see how well this works. Oh! Yeah, imbuing ice is definitely key. Well, I'm obviously about to win this, so rather than just use 2 attacks and not worry about getting killed, I'm gonna use 1 attack and not worry about getting killed. And there we go. And of course this also gives me the chance to get the Heavenstone right now. So having collected all of the Heavenstones so far, what does that give me? That gives me a Fire Shroom. Well, the buff would be nice on Scar, but I don't have anything that can cure burn at the moment. So I'm just gonna hold on to the item until I get an item that can cure burn. Oh, here's a twist. You cannot turn any more trophies until he actually lists them. So I'm gonna have to progress a little bit more into the story before I'm able to turn this next one in. And by he, I of course mean Orban, the trophy guy. Meanwhile, to the east of where that rare beast was, there's another rare beast over here. This is the path that eventually leads to No Man's Land. I didn't have any trouble finding this rare beast my first time, but I did have a lot of trouble fighting it. It was pretty much immune to my attacks, and I had to rely on just spamming Mana Blast over and over again in order to defeat it. However, I think my mistake before was I didn't imbue myself with ice. As we've seen, this is really good against rock monsters. However, first I'm going to see what happens if I use an earth. It gives me a whole bunch of earth stones. Let's see if this lets me win the fight. Probably not. At the very least, I'm going to try Soul Replica, because that will cause damage, and potentially burn and or blind it. Well, I tell you what. The earth damage is not causing damage at all. Damage I'm casting is from the Soul Replica, and only the Soul Replica. However, at the very least, when that thing attacks me, I am resisting damage from it. However, it's quite clear that, yeah, you want to buy another M-Freeze in order to win this fight. Either M-Freeze, or just use a whole bunch of Mana Blasts. It's definitely interesting replaying the game and having the chance to experiment with what I did wrong before. Speaking of no man's land, by the way, this is the path that eventually leads back to Mana Hill in the Chapter 5 that I played. And along the way, I encountered the place where I was shot out of the cave and Einar found me, which means... First off, Einar carried me to the settlement all the way from past here. And second, how strong is Einar? I mean, I cheesed my way through this location using unlimited unleashes? But still, I would imagine that the monsters are around here would be pretty strong. So Einar himself must be pretty strong. Oh, by the way, I'm not sure what plot convenience it is that removes the boulders from our path, but it is mentioned by the Oracle that earthquakes have been causing rock slides here and there, which explains why these boulders are blocking our path to begin with. Alright, so here's an interesting twist. Throughout the majority of the game, anytime you reach a camp, you are basically forced to camp before you can proceed, or backtrack, which is kind of annoying. But this is because often there is some sort of story reason that you would want to camp. And in the case of this camp, we do get a little bit of story if we sleep here. Einar will tell us about the first time he and the other Manafinders faced off against Octavius, the leader of the Nomads. However, we can actually bypass this camp. That little cutscene is actually optional in this case. I'm not going to skip it, but you know, if you wanted to, you can skip it. And honestly, it's a good thing that I decided to go through this cutscene, because I noticed a character that is about to appear down at the bottom of the screen. Very bottom, very bottom. That must be Soren. We actually do get to see Soren within the game. By the way, Octavius totally called the Manafinders cowards for ganging up on him, and he ran off because he didn't like those odds. However, I would like to point out that our introduction to Octavius, he called us cowards for not attacking him and his tribe because there were too many of them. So he's not only a murderer, he's a hypocritical murderer. And briefly, at the end of that cutscene, you get to see Soren in color. And that is, in fact, the color that he had in that still image. Okay, so we just got some stone socks for that rare beast. This one, the shy one that only has a chance of waking up. So, having gotten these stone socks earlier in the game, how useful are they compared to the stone boots which I just randomly found earlier? Extra magic defense. They undo the loss of magic defense that the stone boots give you. Also, we get a couple of stone shrooms for defeating that other rare beast, but we already knew that. Now, here's a real question. Do we get the special prize from Sol and Mar even though we didn't demand it earlier? I didn't really pay attention to whether their message popped up after camping like it did during the first run. So, let's see what happens here. You owe me a surprise reward. Aren't you greedy? Exiled? Still, you earned it. And the surprise is... they run off. Okay, if I leave and come back... They are not back. Alright, that confirms that. I'm gonna want to load an earlier save then. You absolutely want to press them for the special prize the first time you visit them. Unless resting will allow us to get the special prize. Let me see if I get that message if I sleep again. Yep. That's actually kind of funny. Just sleep and the next morning they decide, maybe we should have given it to her. Alright, so never mind, you don't actually miss your chance. Which probably means you don't have to worry about missing your chance with other quests as well. You just have to sleep and then the next quest unlocks. So, gimme. And we already know what our reward is because I got it before, but just as a reminder, the special prize is a Ring of Love, which is max HP and lots of it. Compared to the Mask and Hunter's Necklace, I don't know, that is a nice amount of HP. But I might go ahead and keep these for now. By the way, on this run, after beating the first challenge where I was collecting coins in a maze, they gave me only part of the prize money, and I did not press them to pay the full prize money. From here on, I'm going to demand that they pay the full prize money, because I just spent some on a couple of ice orbs. And I really gotta save up for that 10,000 Joa coin armor. Okay, next on my to-do list, I did Priscilla's second request wrong my first time through. Allow me to explain. So, I need a huge favor. You must be crazy busy saving us all. Yeah, all of our mana stones were stolen by the nomads, so that's kind of a thing right now. But this favor benefits a Manafinder. And I made a mistake at this point. I remained silent so that she could continue. But that gives her the impression that I am not interested. So what I want to do is be enthusiastic as heck. I would love to help you. You are so kind. I want to offer Alcalforia tea to those seeking a less mind-numbing experience. You know, that is actually not a bad option to have. Not everyone wants to get drunk. So, need to get some Alcalforia from Emerald Waters. Could you get some for me? 10 would suffice. Sure, I would love to help you. Thank you, Lambda. Need a drink? Nope. Bye! Hi! Hey, Lambda! Are those the Alcalforias? Yes, I already took the time to get them and created a save so that I don't have to do it all on camera. So yes. Thanks, Lambda. I'll be able to serve Alcalforia tea. And here's your pay. So, this is the normal reward. I got this the first time round. And do you think I'm really helping people out? Yes. Hearing that is very reassuring. Thank you. Some people hate me and blame me for rotting the settlers' minds. Well, here's hoping that offering a less rotting drink will change their viewpoint towards you. Life, 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 why do you have to be so complicated? Don't I know it? Alright, so this part here only happens if you are enthusiastic about taking this quest. You seem to enjoy helping me out. I feel like we are very like-minded. I enjoy your company, Lambda. Me too, Priscilla. You are a good friend. I enjoy the free booze. Or stay silent. Now, this is also an important question to answer. You really want to choose me too, Priscilla. I'm so happy to hear that. If there's anything I can do for you, I will do it. Here, have this. I made it myself. Flower belt. I did not get that during the first run. That way you always remember me on your adventures. Until next time, Lambda. Oh, and remember I'll be selling Alcathoria tea from now on. Yeah, I'm saving my money. By the way, it's worth mentioning that during this game's development, there was a plan to have Priscilla as a possible love interest during the game, alongside Ro, and some other character, I think. I can't remember who. But that was ultimately dropped for the final game, and your relationship with Ro is the only one that matters during the ending. Anyway, the flower belt. It's a belt. A pretty belt made out of colorful flowers handpicked by Priscilla. Not very protective, but grants confusion immunity. That's a good one. Alright, I'm not going to equip it yet because I need the defense more than the magic defense. But, the flower belt is going to be really helpful for going through Alara's Wrath and dealing with those elephants. Okay, and then next up, I just played that game of tag with the kids. Mommy, grown-uppy here is mean. Kids, you need to learn to accept defeat. It is part of growing up. Sorry, Lambda, they should know better. I'll do a better job. Okay, so during the first run, I chose to stay silent. The reasoning because saying, please, they are kind of spoiled, seemed too harsh. But also saying, you are doing fine, they're just kids, also seemed too light, because yeah, they are kind of spoiled, I just didn't want to be harsh about it. However, that got me the worst possible reward for doing this little request, so let's try, you are doing fine, they're just kids. Okay, I got a heart, so that's a good sign. You have a big heart, and so did you. Thanks for being so understanding. Allow me to thank you for babysitting my children by teaching you some motherly tricks. Your common lease will now heal an additional 30 HP for a total of 305 HP per use. Cool. And now let the Manafinder do her work, stopping bugging her. Alright, I'm gonna create an alternate save and check to make sure whether the spoiled one is not an even better option. So what happens if I do say, please, they are kinda spoiled? Well, that's not a good sign. Yes, I'll do a better job, I promise. I am so sorry. Thank you for babysitting, and 20 HP. So yeah, 30 HP is the best reward. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for today. Next time, we're going to try to figure out how to deal with some moles and some spiders.